Hey everyone, Steven Beddell here. Welcome back to this series where we explore Cubase plugins, old and new, in a practical, hands-on way, focusing on real-world production and mixing scenarios. In this video, we're taking a look at Roomworks. This is one of several reverbs that's built into Cubase, and I think it's one that often gets overlooked. It's a very capable and versatile algorithmic reverb, and it features a very simple and intuitive interface. So let me show you a few practical ways that I use Roomworks in my productions to create space, depth, and atmosphere in a mix. Let's dive right in. Every reverb has its own unique sonic character, and over time I think you naturally develop a preference for how different reverbs function within your mix. One way that I often use Roomworks is as a shared effect send to create a cohesive spatial environment across multiple elements. So take for example this mix here. Let's give it a quick listen. Super dry, super intimate, basically no room ambience whatsoever. And that's the case for a lot of stuff that I record in this very small studio space here. So what I'll do for this mix is let's set up an effect send. And under effect here, I have Roomworks selected. And I think a great place to start with Roomworks is by using one of the presets. And as you can see, we've got all sorts of useful presets to work with. Now I want to put these mix elements in a small room. Maybe let's try drums, short snare. So we've got a very short reverb time here. And I'll probably make some adjustments here, but first, let's open up our drums group. Let's come over to Sends and select our Roomworks plugin, and we're going to send some of this drums group signal into the reverb. I'm going to do the same thing for my electric guitars group, activate the send, and we can even do that for our bass as well. Everything in this mix is basically bone dry. Okay, let's take a listen. So that sounds really interesting, right? You can hear a bit of that reflection. It actually adds a lot of depth and realism to the mix. So with Roomworks bypassed, it sounds almost claustrophobic to listen to it without any reverb. With the reverb, and of course, the effect will become much more obvious as we increase the reverb time. In this case, I think it sounds good where it is, but if we increase the time to say like 1.5 seconds, the reverb becomes much more obvious, but it sounds a bit overwhelming. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, Roomworks is also very capable of creating large ambient spaces. In this example, I'm using the Hall Cathedral 1 preset on my main vocal. If you're gonna fight it, so really nice, lush reverb on that vocal. In this case, we've got quite a long reverb time. We've got the size maxed out and a few other parameters here that I should point out that will make a big impact on the way your reverb sounds. So for one, the input filters here on the top left are really useful. So I can filter out the low and sub frequencies before it even hits the plugin. Being able to filter out the low end of a reverb is really important, especially when working with longer, more ambient settings. Excess low frequency content in a reverb tail can quickly build up and introduce a lot of unnecessary mud. So being able to control and remove that low end energy is a key part of keeping the mix clear and focused. And same thing with the high frequencies. I have a filter applied to those as well. If I solo the vocal and I release the filter, you can really hear a difference. If you're gonna fight it, I get behind it, my love. So using this filter, I'm able to kind of soften up the harshness that you get from those highs. Really useful. And same idea with the damping. We can make some adjustments here post reverb signal. So for example, I could dampen some of the high end here. And I like to do this because it gives the reverb sort of more of a vintage feel. I get behind it, my love. And we have more functionality here below, being able to boost the highs and the lows in the reverb signal. And you can see that any adjustments I make here correspond to the graphics on the user interface, which is kind of a handy visual tool. So maybe I'll increase the level of the lows here a bit. Let's draw the highs back. And now I've got this really nice, vintage, warm, long reverb tail. I get behind it, my love. So Roomworks does really well on core mix elements like drums, guitars, and vocals, but it can also be used in more creative ways. One feature I find particularly useful is the hold function. So I'll show you how I might use that in this track. This is like a dark trailer intro. Just give this a quick listen. Okay, so I'm kind of building up tension here right up until bar 17. Now I've got some Roomworks applied to this signature sound here. Let's pull up the plugin and let's engage the read and write automation. Check this out. So by clicking hold there, I get this infinitely long reverb tail. Pretty cool. And I'll adjust the automation here so that we drop the hold at bar 17. Let's maybe bring the reverb mix in gradually as well. And we could even select volume and create like a volume ramp right up until bar 17 here. Let's see how this sounds. Let's adjust this volume fade out, and listening in the context of the whole mix. So really cool to be able to use Roomworks to help build tension alongside all of the other riser elements in this mix. So that's taking a quick look at Roomworks. I really hope you enjoyed that. I hope you picked up a few tips. If you did, make sure to hit that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel for more Cubase content like this. And in the meantime, I will see you in the next video. Take care.